This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/free books. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/free books.
As parents and educators, we all want the same thing: schools where our kids can learn, grow, and feel safe. Today, on Simple Civics EdTalks, we're pulling back the curtain on the measures that keep our schools secure.
Greg Porter, Director of Security, School Safety, and Emergency Preparedness for Greenville County Schools, walks us through the training, protocols, and planning that protect students every day. Let's get a look inside this vital work.
Greg, thank you so much for being with us here today to talk about safety in schools. This is a huge topic in our district, but also all over the country, all over the news, all the time. So we are excited to have you with us today to help clarify and help explain what we do in Greenville County Schools to keep kids safe today. So thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If you'll start by just telling us a little bit how you got to this position.
Yeah, I'm originally not a native here in Greenville. I've been here about 20 years. I grew up outside Chicago, went to Ball State University, joined the Marine Corps during college, deployed to Iraq, got injured in Iraq, and then moved to South Carolina, where my wife is also a teacher here. Joined the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, where I did almost 14 years at the Sheriff's Office, working the road, and then moved to SRO at Woodmont High School, and absolutely loved being an SRO. So then I rose the ranks from there, promoted to master deputy, to a juvenile gang investigator, and then supervisor of SROs. And then just over 3 years ago, switched to the school district and left law enforcement to be the coordinator of emergency management. And then at the beginning of last school year, was promoted to director of school safety, security, and emergency management.
So if you want to just start by kind of, if you feel like summarizing a little bit about what it means, what school security really means, what school safety really means to you and to our listeners. What our listeners kind of need to know about school safety security.
School safety, and if you're listening or have seen anything nationally or from the government or anything, you usually think of FEMA emergency management, and there's pillars of emergency management: prepare, prevent, mitigate, respond, recover. Those are, your huge pillars of it. And you think of layers of security, because you can have the best laid plans and they're always going to fail or have a failure point in some way. So if you layer your security and safety in different aspects, you might fail on one, but another layer is going to catch it. So in the realm of school security, it is incredibly vast. And it's crazy, the meetings that I go to from facilities and construction of new schools, and we're talking about architecture and how to design schools and how to do locks and doors. So you're talking about physical security and then how to enhance existing structures for building hardening, but then also in the realm of technology, cameras, software, emergency alert systems, halo sensors in schools for vaping, and because we're not just the egregious school safety of just school shooters. We're all things school safety, right? So it's fire safety and inspections, and it's managing the physical security, technology security, and then also operational. So it's your standard operating procedures of how your staff is going to react when this happens, and training and things like that. So huge realm.
I think we could start by talking about staff training. I think that's maybe something that the public is not as aware of as how to get in a school building, locks on doors and that sort, and volunteer management. But how are our staff trained?
So the base level is everyone has to watch a video, active shooter training, and what are the core principles of that is run, hide, fight, avoid, deny, defend. You have different response options for different scenarios, and we try to teach everyone that across the board. You can have a video, but how are you practicing that? Because that's how you're going to learn. So not only does the state mandate, and by law, you must conduct different drills throughout the building all year long, right? You have a fire drill every month. We institute standards above what the state says, especially for lockdowns or active shooter scenarios. We go above and beyond with law enforcement and bringing in the third-party observer of our lockdown drills so that it's not just us saying, hey, you need to fix this because of, I'm the principal and you're the teacher and I saw this. But now it's also law enforcement now saying, hey, this is what we observed and this is wrong, or this is awesome, right, of how you guys exercise that. But then we also do intrusion testing. So where we put out, it's a plainclothes deputy or officer to try and get into the building. And it's not to try and, get people in trouble, but it's legitimately trying to change the culture of the school to say, hey, you need to be aware of this and this is how people, we cannot leave doors propped open, and we've moved way beyond that. But from what, maybe 10 years ago of propping doors.
We've seen it evolve over the years in terms of the safety videos we watch and the drills we run. But how would you explain to the public listening how safety has evolved in schools over the last, let's say, 10 years?
Well, if you go just a little bit further back, safety has changed dramatically, especially in the law enforcement realm with Columbine. That's pretty much what changed, extravagantly, the law enforcement response and how you train in schools. As far as changes just in the past 10 years, I would say Columbine is still the biggest one for law enforcement. We as Greenville County School District, we are constantly evaluating every incident that happens throughout the country and digesting what happened, how it happened, and what are we doing to prevent that specific scenario. Because every single one is different and how security or safety failed in those environments, right? And you can look at any school shooting across the country and evaluate that and see, that couldn't have happened here because we do this, or, hey, we need to step this up in this area because that's also a failure on our part. And that's something that Dr. Royster, we meet at the highest levels of a debrief of active shooter events when they occur elsewhere, just to debrief our own staff and say, hey, what are we doing that will help this or deter, prevent this, or what can we do to change?
What would you say are the things that we have in place right now today? If I'm sending my student to elementary school, middle school, high school, that makes you feel good that they are safe at school, what do we have in place to let parents know that safety really is our number one priority? We say it all the time, and we feel it when we work for the school district, but to let those that aren't in a building every day know that their student is safe at school.
I think parents, especially here in the community, the most visible one is our weapons detection system. And it's in a random basis, so we also get the most questions on why we do it that way. If it was a 100% foolproof system that would completely eradicate weapons in schools, I don't think anyone would spare any expense to put them everywhere, right? But ask the TSA, ask any prison, weapons still get by. So if you still have to be judicious with cost, but also when you permanently put a system in place and then who's running that machine, the human element of complacency comes in, and also kids are kids and they're going to find a way around it. And when you think about deploying permanently at a school, it really does, it would turn into a prison type environment, because if you go out to recess, you're not just coming back into the gym, you have to come back through Evolve, because once you exit the building, then you're having choke points to get back into the building too. So then your cost rises because of how many entrances do you have at the school and how many more staff do you have to operate at all of those points, right? So yeah, those are the higher level questions above, but I would say our weapons detection system and how we deploy it in a random way always keeps people on their toes, because they don't know where we're going to be at any given point. We're there every single week, no matter what, but you never know when we're coming, right? So it does provide the element of randomness, and even if kids are saying, well, whether there's a weapon in a car or that deterrent is there, it's a win if they try to keep it away from the school because they don't know when we're coming. It's still a win.
I can vouch for that. Y'all surprised us with it this morning. So they really don't tell us. It's a surprise.
Greg, if you could tell the public anything about school safety and security that would convince them that coming to school is safer than going other places publicly, what would you say?
The data is there. School is still the safest place for kids across as compared to being in the community, right? When you're thinking of all kinds of crime or other ways that you can get hurt. But I would say ultimately there are 45 people in the security and safety department that are working all hours of the day, around the clock, to ensure that multiple different systems, operations, and trainings are all moving forward on any given day, whether it's from how a door locks to physical hardware to ensuring cameras are there. And it's a constant balance for us of, just like I said, with the weapons detection, if there was a system out there that was the silver bullet to solve school safety, everyone would have it, right? And technology is coming out that they claim to be the next and best, greatest thing, right? But if you have the money to buy it, because it's insanely expensive. So it's testing, or we're doing testing and evaluations of all kinds of technologies that are out there to ensure that if we want to pursue something, it's worth it. But it's balancing the newer technologies that are coming out that will help keep us safe, but also the daily grind is, what are your teachers and staff going to do and train them to not only prevent, deter, and respond appropriately.
Thank you so much for what you do for us every day and your team. I believe that safest I am is at school if I'm not at home, so I'm proud to be here with you.
I think we also can hear in your responses that we are able to create that welcoming environment for students. I constantly hear from parents and community members of being so surprised when they come into our buildings and how welcoming it feels and how loved the kids are. But we can only do that because of the safety and all the things that you mentioned that are in place. So thank you and your team for helping us create the welcoming environments for students every day.
Thank you for joining us for today's conversation.
We're Mary Leslie Anderson and Aaron Rigaud with Rooted Consulting.
Until next time, keep nurturing school culture.
And keep growing strong roots in your community.
Simple Civics EdTalks is a joint project of Greater Good Greenville, Greenville First Steps, and public education partners Greenville County.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.